This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It is an honor to have you here. This film is on why you should consider owning and using trout flies. I said why you should use trout flies. Now, of course, most fishermen have tackle box after tackle box full of all sorts of exotic monster lures that can cost $10 a piece. And it's nothing to get $300 wrapped up in a fishing box full of lures. But there are options, and one of the options I went with was just simply trout flies. Now, over the years, I bought a few of these, and these are from China, of course, through Amazon. But you can usually get them down to about 50 cents a piece. These small flies, trout flies, if you will, beautiful specimens that have the very small hook in there. And I understand that many will say, well, a small hook will never catch a big fish, or it won't hold a big fish. And I get it. Most people think you've got to have a monster hook to be able to hang on to a fish, or you have to have the danger of a treble hook. And the danger is once you got the fish back and then trying to hang on to the fish is hoping that the treble hook doesn't flip out of him and get stuck in you. And more than a few people that I've talked to have had things like that happen. They are a danger, absolutely. But before you say, well, there's no way a small hook will catch anything, there is a picture of me, and it was 2019, and that's a 29-inch catfish, and I caught him on a lure and a hook that was just a hair bigger than the average fly. Just a hair bigger, not much. And so the potential is there. I didn't have a scale that day, so I didn't get to weigh him. But he was 29-inch catfish. That's a good-sized catfish for a very small lure to get him caught and brought in. Absolutely. And they're out there. And, of course, there's different sizes. There's some pretty good-sized flies that you would consider a dry fly. And if it got wet and started sinking, you can utilize it that way as well. I use a 10-cara fly rod, and it works for me. But if you want to go with a regular rod and reel, you sure can do that. These little bitty flies run, again, about 50 cents a piece if you buy them in bulk from Amazon. And comparatively to live bait, it is extremely cheap, not near as messy or smelly. And of course, lake after lake is starting to ban using live bait. And so that's something to keep in mind as well. Also, most of these hooks are barbless, or the barbs are so small that they'll probably pass as a barbless hook. And a number of lakes, a number of states are considering passing such laws, as it is already in Canada. Now, the small hook will also mean less damage to the fish when you do take it out, and heaven forbid it ever got in you. If it ever got in you, you'd be awful grateful for that little bitty hook in you, rather than to have one of these big honkers, sticking in you and rip through one side of your hand and out the other. And so today you might also ask yourself, do I want a box full of flies and fishing equipment? Or do I think a silver coin is going to buy me what I want? And considering how many fakes there are out there, it may not be the greatest idea in the world to have a bunch of silver compared to just some common sense tools and fishing equipment. This is McCook's Mr. Bill. You have a safe day.